There is such a thing as a financial roadmap to success. My name is Ryan Chenier. I'm the founder and CEO of Mastery Fractional CFO Services. This topic today is about the financial roadmap to success and what that looks like. As a CFO, a fractional CFO that works with a variety of different clients on their roadmap to success, I'm often working with them in the early parts of doing business with them on setting up this roadmap to success. So, what I'm going to do today is explain in some detail the process we go through, the philosophy behind it, and what it looks like to give you some flavor for some of the things you might do to help your business get on track financially. So, here we are the roadmap to success, the financial perspective. With any roadmap, if you're looking at the map, you want to understand first thing, where am I on this map? In order to get a reference, you have to know where you are. And in this case, we're going to start off with this blue square. You are here. Now, the next thing you want to do whenever you're looking at a map is understand, where do we want to be? Where do we want to go? To chart a path to get there, I have to understand where point A is, that's where I am, and where point B is, that's where I want to go. Okay, so that point B is represented on this map by the second blue square. Now, once you know where you want to go and where you're at, the next most important thing is to figure out a strategy or a plan to get there. And most of the time, the steps along the path to get from point A to point B aren't always a straight line. There's a bit of a curve in there. There's always some navigating that needs to be done. So these are the steps. Let's talk about them individually. Step one, when you know where you're at in terms of your business, one of the most important things to do is validate what you believe to be the case with your financial statements. Do your financial statements accurately reflect where your business is at? Are they accurate? Are they up to date? Are they telling the true story? There's three key financial statements: the profit and loss statement, sometimes called the income statement, the balance sheet, and the statement of cash flows. Those three financial statements can tell an awful lot about a business, where it's at, where there may be opportunities for improvement, where there may be some potential risks and things like that. Okay, now also at this point, you can get a good idea of what some of the trends might be. Next, when you're charting out your course, not only do you want to understand where you're at from the financial point of view, but you want to set financial goals, targets, milestones, so that you can figure out, what does the company need to look like financially? What do the financial statements need to look like in order for me to know that I'm where I want to be? You need to define that financially. And so that's why we set goals and targets and milestones in financial terms for your business. Now, your goals for the business may not be financial goals necessarily. You may want to have freedom, or you may want to be able to travel 6 months per year. But we need to understand what your business has to look like, what the financial statements of your business will have to be like in order to fund what it is that you want out of your business, or in order for your business to enable you to have the freedom to do some of the things you want. There's different ways to structure it. Ultimately, you're going to have a certain amount of time, a certain amount of money, and a certain amount of plans that are going to require time and or money. And so being able to outline what your financial statements need to look like in order for you to actualize or realize those goals is very important. It's a very important part of the process here, the strategy to go from where you are to where you want to be. Next up are key performance indicators. Now, in this case, I'm talking about financial key performance indicators. The key performance indicators can be many different things. It depends a lot on the business, depends a lot on what your goals are for the business. But the financial key performance indicators are generally going to encompass things such as revenue or sales targets, gross profit margin, expenses, net profit, cash in the bank. And there's many kinds of key performance indicators that you're going to want to track for your business that are going to really help you identify where you're at along the way to achieving your goals. Your key performance indicators provide a diagnostic assessment. Month in and month out, you can start to identify trends, baselines, and you can get an idea of where the business is healthy, where there needs to be some changes. You can get an idea of whether or not your plans for the business are in line with your actual results. If your actual targets for revenue, for example, aren't in line with what your original plans are, your key performance indicator, your revenue key performance indicator is going to tell you that. It's going to tell you early enough that you can be proactive about making adjustments for that. In your business, if you're a larger business, there's going to be different people who are responsible for such things as revenue or other KPIs. And by tracking the KPIs and paying attention to them and monitoring them, you can drive accountability in your business. You can make sure that the people in the business who need resources allocated to them are provided with those resources. You can make sure that the business does what it needs to do in order to enact or execute the strategy that you've got in place to go from point A to point B, or in this case, from where you are originally to where you want to be with your finances. Next up is, what is driving our key performance indicators? Okay, so you know what they are. You've identified some of the key things you're going to be looking at. But what drives your financial key performance indicators? What's driving your revenue, for example? These are your sales. What's causing your sales? What are the levers you can pull or the dials you can work with to generate more sales when you want them, or to reduce the number of sales when you're at capacity? This is going to be different for different businesses, and it's not going to be easy to determine exactly what you need to do. But to give you some examples of what might drive revenue, if I was looking at a business with a business owner or with the key stakeholders of the business, and I was trying to identify what the drivers of the revenue KPI are going to be, I'd want to look at their sales pipeline. What do they have in the pipeline? What are the different stages of the pipeline? What are the conversion rates from one stage to the other? What does their sales funnel look like? The pipeline and the funnel, or the pipeline with conversion rates is more like a sales funnel, but we'd want to be talking about these kinds of conceptual models, understanding what the math is behind them, what the numbers, the key performance indicators for that funnel are, and what drives those can be such things as, for example, the number of ads we place. Now that's super simplified. We're going to have to get into the weeds a lot more with the people who are responsible for revenue in the company. But by diving in, dialing in, and tracking metrics, looking at the data, understanding the stages, understanding what needs to be done to operationalize the plan, to turn the plan into day to day, week to week, month to month actionable items, we can work at actually directing a company in line with where we want it to go. So we're not just looking at the key performance indicators in the rearview mirror and saying, okay, this is what happened, but we can look forward and figure out, what do we need to do to create results in the future that are going to be in line with what we want in terms of key performance indicators? And that's extremely important. It's also very doable, but it takes a certain amount of attention to detail, and it really does take an understanding of the financial underpinnings. So we know what drives our key performance indicators. Now the question is, what are the action items? What do we need to do that is going to drive our key performance indicators towards our goals, targets, and milestones so that we achieve what we want to achieve? Well, the strategy with respect to the overall plan is going to ultimately come down to executing upon those action items. Do we need our salespeople and our revenue generation people to be working on lead generation? Or is it more of a matter of understanding what our branding is, and our awareness campaigns need to be modeled around a plan of action? What is that plan of action? Is it a matter of our operations personnel being able to be efficient with respect to executing upon or delivering the service or products that we've sold? What's our capacity in the organization? What do we need to do? Do we need to allocate resources, time, and or money in different ways? Do we need to take capital and invest it in training and development for our operations personnel, or machinery that's going to improve efficiency? There's all sorts of things that can be involved here, but if we can boil it down to specific actions, and I'm talking about key actions, you can dig 100 1-foot holes, or you can dig one 100-foot hole, but an organization is going to have limited resources. You're not going to be able to dig 100 feet deep holes. And so you need to choose, where are we going to get the best return on investment? And you can model that out financially, and this is a part of how we do that. But there are other things that need to be in alignment with the financial model. Operations, sales, these are things that need to be aligned together, and this planning needs to take that perspective that involves all three major components of the business: sales and marketing, operations, finance, and accounting. But once we set out what those action items are, we will have the last step that needs to be in place for us to know what our financial roadmap to success is. Then it's a matter of following through with it. If we follow through with this, we find we go from where we are today to where we want to be. And then when we get there, we can reestablish what those plans are. This mirrors pretty closely the financial planning and analysis cycle that I do with my clients every year. This can be done more often, it can be done less often, but it should be done. So to review, there's all kinds of different things that we can be talking about here. And in this short video, I haven't gone over every single detail, but I've got some here. You can take a screenshot if you want to analyze some other thoughts on the matter. This is important, and this can help us achieve our dreams. Now, if you are busy, and I'm assuming you are, and you are the leader of the business, if you are the CEO of the business, you won't necessarily have the time to do all of this on your own. You're going to need somebody who can help you, somebody who can effectively ride shotgun and help you read the dashboard and help you make some decisions regarding where you're going to go along the route. Somebody who can save you time and look after some of the minutia. But you do need a plan, and having a financial roadmap in place is a part of the overall business strategy, which will create bandwidth for the CEO and increase business success. So that's what we do at Mastery Fractional CFO Services. There are a number of different metrics and reports and software that we use to help dial in those key performance indicators and the drivers of the key performance indicators, different ways that we can look at the data to bring to the table the most key information so that the business leaders can make smarter business decisions without having to spend all kinds of time personally massaging the data and digging into the details. We do that for you. We do a lot of the heavy lifting. And this stuff does matter a lot. There's a lot here. It can make a significant difference with respect to cash flow, profit, business value, and overall your vision of success in achieving that. So key takeaways, you don't have to be an expert with the numbers, but you do have to understand your numbers and you have to use them to make smart decisions. If you need help, it's here for you. If you have any questions about anything you've seen here, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Leave a message in the comments or reach out to me directly. You can find us on different platforms using the QR code. I'll be happy to chat with you. And if there's a potential fit between our two businesses, we can look at what the next steps might be. And if there's not, that's okay too. If you haven't already, I'd encourage you to subscribe to our channel, as I'll be posting more information like this in the future. Information that'll help a CEO or a key leader in a business take their business to the next level using financial strategy and management without needing to be a financial expert. Until next time.